Hey everyone, welcome to part 4 of Words Have Infinite Power. Hope you enjoy the show.
We went deep undercover and picked the lock on the magician's vault. And before Ross could get turned into a toad, well,
how come I'm always getting turned into the toad? I'm tired of being the one getting turned into the toad.
We came out with 3 powerful hacks that will open up a treasure box of empowerment and transformation for you just by using words in a bunch of different ways.
You know, as I sit on my toadstool and I sit in deep meditation, I use that time to clear my mind. Most of us do. And rather than like most who search for answers, understanding the answers will come. And I must trust myself to recognize and understand them. And when they do come, sometimes they come as images or flashes. Sometimes it's as synchronicities and portals, like we cover in our master labs. While other times, they come as words and phrases. And like Gary pointed out last week, if we are to communicate with or be communicated to, we need to have a clear idea of the definition of the words coming and going. You see, in order for words to teach, it takes a lot to get them to a concept or get an idea across. And a single undefined word can stall the whole process. So years ago, they determined if someone was reading a book, a story, a report, whatever, and they came across a word they didn't know the definition of, their mind would stop remembering what they were reading up to that point until it found the definition. It would focus its attention on the word and loop it over and over and over again, ultimately losing the retention of what you were doing. So once you understand the words you read or hear, your brain begins to analyze their semantic and syntactic relationships. For example, as we talked last week, the weekend versus the week end. Taking into consideration the orders, the order that the words maintain, the tenses, the complements, the information about the subject, while at the same time activating the neural mechanisms that detect incongruence or novelty effects. Thus, the looping cycle begins.
And before we dive into the pond with Ross, into the content today, please go ahead and tell us in the comments where you're tuning in from today. Let us know. Let's see where in the world you're tuning in from, and see where we're all from, and get to know where our global community is tuning in from. Go ahead and drop it in the comments so we can see where you're tuning in from. Ross is just outside Seattle, Washington, and I'm just outside Vancouver, Canada. We've told you where we're tuning in from. There we go. They're starting to come in now. And so we'd like you to go ahead and do the same. Where are you? Wherever you're from, though, right? Wherever you are, we'd like to thank you for being here and joining us as we promise to provide some great content. Now, remember,
from Bulgaria.
Yeah, I see that.
Hi,
That's
Mary.
awesome.
Good to see you.
Memphis. I see there's a bunch of you on, so go ahead and drop it in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Awesome. And so remember that you can get more exclusive and unique content and communication and collaboration with others of like mind in our private group. Now they're all pouring in. There we go. In our private group. So if you're not already a member, we'd like to invite you to join our community of over 8,000 amazing like-minded people from all around the world. just head over to, it's on the screen there. Just head over to facebook.com/groups/the Infinity Matrix. Answer the 3 entry questions, and you'll be automatically accepted in as a member. If you don't answer them, the system will bump you. It's really our way of keeping out, or doing our best to keep out spammers from the group and messing up the atmosphere and the energy that we have there. All right. So we can't deliver pizza through this platform. So we figured great content was a good compromise. Okay.
I don't know what he drank this morning, folks. I don't know what we got frogs, we got pizza. I don't know where this is going to go anymore.
Actually, go ahead and find the pizza emoji or any food emoji and drop it in the comments. Let's have a little fun here. All right. Pizza or any food, like you were putting in an order for Ross to deliver to your house. Okay.
Don't mind the bites out of it.
Get you busy today, Ross.
I know, it's just like me and my flies coming in.
And now that we've got you salivating, let's get right into it. The first magic words hack I'm going to give you today is going to be a small but potentially powerful one that could possibly impact any area of your life for years to come. Okay? So first, I'd like you to understand that what you say and when you say certain things to yourself over and over and over again, what you're doing is you're reinforcing at the unconscious level. It begins to create and strengthen the neural pathways for that thing that you're repeating. Okay? And what it does is, as it's creating those neural pathways and strengthening them, it then makes that become more of a reality in your world. And it doesn't have a process of where it actually filters out or judges something to be good or bad. It just takes what it gets and uses it. Okay? So it's important to consider the potential impact of many things that you say just out of habit. All right? So who here feels like they have a bad memory? Go ahead and enter in the chat #memory needs work. Okay? Enter #memory needs work if you feel that you have a bad memory. All right. So hold on, I got to see some people are having like martinis. Ross, you gotta.
Hey.
Oh, and then someone said, "Oh, it's Michelle."
You didn't qualify any of this, man. If people want to party on the show, we let them party on the show.
And someone has a couple of beers and ice cream. All right, good. Okay, so yeah, #memory needs work. So there's a bunch of you. All right. So, as you do that, I want you to begin to dissect the words and phrases you've used around memory throughout your life. Okay? And as we see, there's more and more piling in that more memories need work in this audience. Do you believe that nurturing and taking care of your capacity to remember things is important? Answer in the chat. Yes or no. #memory important, or yes, or whatever. Just give me some kind of feedback if you believe that nurturing and taking care of your capability to remember things is important. If not now, in the future as you get older. Okay, yes, good. We got a bunch coming in there. Awesome. There, yes. Okay, good. All right. Okay, so there's something I figured out many years ago during my practice as a hypnotherapist, and that is all. And I rarely use these quantifying, generalizing words, right? All of your problems and all of your solutions are a result of your memories. So think about it. Okay? if you have pain, mentally or emotionally, the only way you can hold on to that pain is if you continue to remember to feel it. If you end up in a relationship that goes sour, it's because you didn't remember the feelings of love and harmony enough to keep building and growing it. If you have trauma, anxiety, or depression, you have to regularly remember how to create those emotions in order for them to show up. But what if you could remember to forget them? Think about it. If you remember to forget them, you just wouldn't have any recollection of why you had them or how to generate those biochemical reactions for that emotion to show up. Sounds simple, but it may not be easy. I get that. But after observing, for many years, observing this with my clients, family and friends, I started to notice the languaging that people use around their memory or perceived lack of it. I mean, if everyone here says, or if many people here say that they have a bad memory, right? Why is it you're not forgetting the crappy stuff? Why is that? Right? Why is it you're not forgetting, the pain and the abuses, and why is it you're not forgetting those things? Right? Or the your lack of this, or your inability to do. Why is that? Well, part of it is, we've talked in previous streams, is social conditioning and what society kind of puts in front of us and reinforces. But it ultimately is up to you and how you communicate to yourself. Absolutely, Michelle, it's a choice. Absolutely, right? And so, but it's a choice once you get to the choice convergence points. Otherwise, it's just a habit, and a habit is something you do that you don't know you're doing. Soon as it comes to your awareness, if you continue to do it, yes, it's a choice. Okay, so I started to notice the languaging that people used around memory and or their perceived lack of it. So here's what I'm going to propose that you do. Okay, I want you to begin catching yourself and others when you or they say phrases like the following: "Oh, I have a terrible memory," or "I'm so forgetful," or "Oh, I forgot," whatever. Okay, just fill in the blank after that. Okay, and I want you to deeply consider what's being said. I want you to pause and really consider what the word forget or forgetting means. Here are a couple of definitions, dictionary definitions. Fail to remember. Right? So when someone says they forget, it means they failed to remember. Or put out of one's mind, cease to think of or consider. Okay, think about that. So if I say, "Oh, I forgot my keys," for example, right? And I stop to consider what I've said, then I would see clearly that my statement cannot possibly be. It can't be true. Because in order for me to know or have awareness that I didn't have my keys in my possession at that moment, I had to first remember every aspect about my keys, what they looked like, what they felt like, how long I had them. Every detail had to be remembered first before I claim that I have forgotten them. Okay, it's kind of a mind, I get it, okay? But really get this. So this is not a true statement of reality. The true statement and the one that is more empowering and supportive of a healthy memory. Because when you're saying, I forgot, you're reinforcing that, right? Remember, if I talked about earlier, if you say it over and over, you start to reinforce and becomes your reality. So that one is not a reinforcing one. So if we state the reality that supports us and empowers us and is supportive of a healthy memory, it's like this. Oh, I seem to have remembered my keys too late. Because you remembered them. How else would you know that you forgot? I mean, you right? So state the fact that you remembered them. And that reinforces that you have a good memory, that you're remembering more than you give yourself credit for on a regular basis. Right? And so some of you might say, but if I forgot where I put my keys, then I really did forget again. That would mean, based on the definitions, it would mean you failed to remember, or you ceased to think of or consider it. And if that's the case, then you wouldn't remember that you had forgot your keys. The mere fact that you claimed to forget it means that you actually remembered it first. Because if you did forget it, you wouldn't know it. It wouldn't be in your mind or your awareness. You wouldn't have awareness that it existed or was needed. Okay? And so James says, how about I've forgotten to bring my keys? No, you remembered to bring your keys too late. By the time you say that, you've remembered your keys were needed. Okay? So let's break it down to drive the point home. And, James, you say we're beating the point to a death. Trust me, it's a micro example of all kinds of words that we use over and over that reinforce our limits and our limitations and stuff like that. And if we don't look at it and understand that, and while you may get it, some people don't. So we need to kind of, support everybody that needs to work through that, because it is a difficult concept to shift for some people. Right? So I appreciate that you get it, and that's great. So now, then, James, that means for you, right? If you've said that, then that means for you in your future, you can't ethically and integrally say that you've forgotten anything. Because if you do, then I didn't drive it home enough. Right? So, and because this is not something that happened overnight for people, it's something that they've been doing over and over. They've established hardwired patterns for this. Right? And I'm talking from experience. I've worked with over 18,000 clients one-on-one, and I'm telling you from experience that this seems simple, but it isn't easy, which is what I said. And that's why we need to kind of get it from different aspects and different perspectives. Right? So you go to a party, you're meeting with some people, you have a great time, the night passes by and it's time to leave. So you go to get your jacket, you put on your shoes and you head to your car, then you stop and say, I forgot where I put my keys. And you actually are saying you remembered you had keys. You remembered you had put them somewhere. And at that moment, that exact location is being investigated by your conscious and unconscious mind, but hasn't brought it to mind yet. So in essence, you actually remembered much more than you gave yourself credit for. But I forget my keys is a statement that reinforces a weakened memory. So here's your super simple hack. Okay, yet powerful magic words hack you can start to remember to use from now on. Once you catch yourself or others saying, I forgot something, immediately change it to, oh, I just remembered blank, and fill it in. Oh, I just remembered. I just remembered. Okay, and the other thing I want you to remember is that on Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. PST, we have our Down the Rabbit Hole segment. Okay, it's free. It's a free open Zoom call where you're invited to join us on conversations of all kinds. Let me just throw it on the thing here. There we go. All right, it's running down the bottom there. We have conversations of all kinds, taking topics from this and past streams into deeper explorations, even topics we haven't done on streams yet. Right? You'll truly love it. It's informal, and we're building a great community of like-minded people talking about stuff that nurtures our soul. Right? So just go ahead over to hackingtheinfinitymatrix.com/rabbit hole to register and get the Zoom link sent into your inbox, and then jump on the call with us. And that's on Saturday, 8 a.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, it's also a great place, a great time to develop these questions that you have about what we're showing you today, and for all the last 3 segments as well. So it's really fun. So as we conclude this month's topic of words and the worlds that they create, we want to once again emphasize the truest power of the words that you use. When you speak in energy and vibration. You speak as a transmitter, and those who hear you are receiving your message and your energy. That's why sometimes you get that feeling of, as someone communicates a less than truthful resonance. You just get that feeling because it's not just the words. Because as you receive the sounds of words, you're also extracting the vibrational energy underlying them, the code. Even when reading, we can have a keen sense of energy and coherence of the author themselves. So now we're going to present you with number 2 of our 3 microhacks today that will lock in much of this month's teachings. So always keeping in mind Benjamin Franklin's adage, tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I will learn. Well, you're about to be involved, very involved. So our second hack is, I don't know. I'm going to have to put you guys on an elimination diet. Sorry about that. No, don't worry. It's not a food diet. It's an elimination diet of words. And this is how it's going to play out. So I hope you all have a notepad, pen, and paper.
For a really good memory.
Exactly. For 1 week, you're going to eliminate these 5 words or phrases from your vocabulary. You're going to do this for 1 week and notice the results in the way that the infinity matrix is going to start responding back to you. So write these down on a piece of paper or a note card so you have something tangible to hold. Carry it with you, fold it up, put it in your pocket. Okay, we want something that's going to constantly remind you. You're going to feel it. Oh yeah, I remember that, and you open it up and look again. Plus the brain remembers more when things are written down rather than being typed. So, but if you must type, make this list become your phone's wallpaper for a week. It needs to become part of your environment's coding. We've talked about this an awful lot over the last year. The whole emphasis behind what we do is to utilize your environment and read its coding. Okay, so the first phrase that we're going to eliminate from your word diet is I'll try. How many people have used that just today or in the last 24 hours? Okay, so again, we go back to what it means. When you tell somebody, I'll try, it just simply means no. It really means you won't do something or don't want to. It's become kind of what I call the cop-out term. It's inferring that you plan to fail, to quit, or not even try at all. There's no commitment behind these words. This phrase is one of those weird word groups that Gary was talking about last week on the live stream. So it has so many uses and inferences that it can be confusing. And this variation that we're talking about today refers to the type of mentality for exerting minimal effort, if you even get around to trying in the first place. So Thomas Edison didn't say, I'll try to invent the light bulb. I'm pretty sure he didn't say that. But he did try 10,000 different attempts before he succeeded. So in other words, his tries came about from doing, because he was committed. He had a declaration of, I'm going to solve this problem. So if somebody asks you if you're going to succeed in your venture and you say, I'll try, it's a low priority. However, if you say, I'll need to move a few things around, I'm pretty sure it'll work, it becomes higher on the scale and in your mind's priorities. So here's a couple examples. Instead of using I'll try, how about I will? Boom, I will. Or I'm determined. Or simply be honest and simply say you're not interested or it won't work for me. Now, this isn't just in business. This is anything that Gary and I are talking about. This encompasses your whole life. This is when grandma asks if you're going to come to her party. Who's done this? Oh, I'll try.
Or let's borrow from Master Yoda. No, try not. Do or do not. There is no try.
He just had to do a Star Wars reference. I'm telling you.
I think that's the first Star Wars I've done in 69 episodes. I'm slacking.
Okay. Okay, number 2. Mr. Spock said, no. Number 2, I can't. Oh, this one is brutal. This is relatively the second cousin to I'll try. So when you say I can't, you set yourself up for failure from the very beginning, because it means you are giving up or that you lack the power. It implies a low self-image, a helplessness, and a lack of self-control. Now, using the word also increases your stress level and it blocks creativity and your ability to literally solve problems. It is a huge self-sustaining barrier. Now, let's qualify this a little bit. Yes, you may not be able to physically lift that 200-pound barbell. Okay, I got it. But if it were on your foot, you'd find a way. You'd redefine can't into how can I? And this holds true for any scenario. If you want it badly, you'll find a way. So again, some alternatives to that would be I can, I intend to, I'm committed or will commit. I can't is absolutely, it's not going to happen. I can't do that. Find a way. Number 3, I know that. And Gary knows this is probably my pet peeve. Okay. When you say I know that, it closes you off to absorbing any new information or ideas. Whether you're saying this to save face, to impress someone, or your ego is just simply out of control, you are putting limitations on yourself and almost everything you do or are about to do. I've been in circumstances when a trainee says to me, or says this very thing to me, so, oh, I know that. Okay, great. And my quick response is, oh, that's great. Please explain. How do you know it? And 95% of the time, they're going to stutter and stammer because they really don't know, but they're trying to impress me. And it's a very, very bad habit to get into. And again, once it's brought to their attention, as Gary just said earlier, once I do something like that, that's great. Please explain. How do you know? Now it's no longer a habit. Now they realize that they just simply made a foolish choice. It's generally a last resort a last resort that I take to break a disempowering pattern. Because when you know that, oh, I know that, you stop. You don't really know, okay? Or you don't know all of it. So if you feel this coming on, pause. Just pause and reframe it. Perhaps something like, I've seen this before, but not like this. Show me more. Okay? You will instantly feel a shift in the energy of the individual or the room altogether, and in a shift in yourself. You become more curious. And again, this is used a lot just because people don't want to show any type of ignorance. And there's nothing wrong with ignorance. It just means you don't know. So here's some alternatives for this one. Show me more, or I'm intrigued, or I understand that. What about this? Turn it into a question. You're going to notice an immediate response. Oh, well, let me show you this. Okay. Number 4, I don't have time for. And what this really means is I won't make time for, or I don't know how to make time for, whatever, fill in the blank. Ultimately, when considering a new venture, a purchase, addition to your life, you don't see enough value as a reason to reprioritize your time. That's generally what this means. So when you find yourself beginning to think or say this, stop and ask yourself why. Is your schedule really that packed? Or is this not worth your time? Which is fine. Is it lacking value or importance to you? Another way you can use this as well, if it's something that you're interested in, I'll make it happen. Instead of I don't have time, it's like, I can make this happen. I can make time. I can move this up on my priorities. But also be honest with yourself too. It's like, this is just not for me. I don't like this. I don't want to. That's fine. But don't limit yourself. All these words that Gary just finished talking about, and these as well, are all just limiting you. So number 5, I don't have energy for this. And again, it really means you don't want to make energy for it, or don't know how to make energy. This refers to mostly a state of mind, a mindset of complacency and acceptance pretty much of the status quo. And in many cases, the spirit and body are weak. They're overworked, stressed, spread too thin, and lacking a prioritization of tasks and goals. When you find yourself saying or thinking in this way, take some time to seriously consider some self-care. I did that. I just did that a few weeks ago. I had some energy work done, and a couple of weeks later, voila. Okay. Other avenues to look into could be that quite a bit of low energy tasks or projects are depleting you. This is generally the number one culprit. There's just all these little things, and they're just beating you up. They're just taking away all of your time. Here's your solution for that. Either you identify them, you make a decision to eliminate them, or delegate them. Period. Diet, exercise, recreation are all key components to energy replenishment. Keep those in your schedule. If they're not there, put them there. If you have to put them on your calendar, do it. It's going to make a huge difference. And developing a state of change for low energy is pretty much the ideal remedy. So quick, short spurts of energy, nothing fancy, just fast, high energy movement. While declaring, I am full of energy. Just get up and just start moving. I am full of energy. Full. Do that for 3 minutes. Start with 1 minute. And then come back down. And then do it again. And then come back down. It will create a physiological and a psychological connection in the body that it will learn to respond to. Also keeping top of mind that saying you don't have energy tells the body and the mind that you don't have energy. And ask yourself why you get up in the morning. Okay, do you have a big vision for your life? Do you get up in the morning going, I get to do this? Or you get up in the morning going, I have to go to work? Rather than I get to go to work. I get to go do this. I get to go help people. I get to do another presentation this morning. This is fantastic. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Energy is key. We've been discussing this for months. So an alternative again, when I don't have energy for, is I can do this. I'm ready for this. Bring it on. Start telling your body what you want, what you need. Get that connection going. If you're having a swollen day and you're slumped over, get up, move. Move. All right. Here's the last one. But.
So let me just interrupt you, Ross. So Samantha says, Tony Robbins was talking about spurts that fast-paced movements yesterday on his live. This all is really putting the dots together for me. So, yeah, we find that that Ross and I had this same conversation. We're like, hey, are these guys listening to our streams? Because they're talking about stuff that we've been talking about. I mean, clearly, in the last, at least the last 5-6 episodes. So yeah, we noticed those things too, Samantha. Thanks for bringing it up.
And Samantha, really, what that proves that this is just universal.
Yeah.
That's really where it comes down to, is that these are just the laws of the universe. Mm-hmm. The body needs motion. The body needs energy. And we can create our own energy. We are creators.
Yeah, and these are the codes that hack the matrix, and that's why you're putting something out there to change your perception, your experience of reality, and that's what these hacks are all about. So,
exactly. All right. So number 6, but this is fun. Okay. So when you say but, in most cases, it causes...
We're not talking about rear end. Your rear end. We're not talking about that but with double T's.
Hang on a second. I need to change my presentation. In most cases, we're not talking about B-U-T-T. Okay.
Yes.
Now, in most cases, it causes everything that was said or thought before it is negated. Okay. It often has the effect of changing a neutral statement into a negative one. This word closes off the conversation space or the thought process. And I'm going to give you some examples. When the boss says, you did a great job last week, but sales are still down, that's not very motivating, because when we break this down, you did a great job last week, but he's negating, he's eliminating, he or she is eliminating the great job last week. You didn't do a great job last week. Sales are down. Okay. When she could have said, you did a great job last week. However, sales are still down. It dulls things a bit, but however is just a milder way of saying but.
Let me shift this even more. So again,
Sure.
remember, words have the power we give them, right? So you can also do the same sentence. So instead of you did a great job last week, but sales are down, by changing two components, just switching and say sales are still down, but you did a great job last week.
Right.
So now we're negating the thing that, okay, yeah, we get that it's down, but we're emphasizing the thing that, hey, you did a great job this week.
We're reversing it, right? So let's say, for example, then that you can go even better with this same sentence, though.
Mm-hmm.
You did a great job last week. So what is another way we continue the momentum to further increase sales?
Nice.
Now that's motivating.
Mm-hmm.
However, you can, kind of what Gary was just saying, you can positively use but and negate a negative outcome as, I realize sales are down, but look at those profit margins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it can be used. Again, it's just thinking through what you're trying to do. But when somebody's talking to you, in most cases, I had a professor when I was in college, and he was literally had a reputation of never saying a bad thing about his students' work. Never. And by applying this on a regular and consistent basis, the students, the peers, his employees, spouses, children, virtually anyone, it will be received in a far more empowering way. And so will you. This professor had an incredible reputation. He was very mild, very meek and such, but everybody just wanted to talk to him because he never said anything negative. He would never say, well, that's very nice, but he had this really monotone voice. Oh my gosh. You did not want to have him first thing in the morning. But he was so kind and so gentle. I can honestly say, in thinking back, I don't think he ever used the word but. I really, really don't. It was amazing, and everybody knew it, and everybody had such respect for him because he always saw the brighter side. He always saw something good. So when you take all of these into consideration, think of how you're saying them. Probably 99.9% well, you'll automatically use these in a different setting, a kind of tone, your voice tone. You have low energy, almost a whisper. You're gonna have a slumped posture. Your head will be tilted. Think of when you see somebody talking to you and they go, but, or I'll try, or I can't. Okay, this is your first signal when sending or receiving these tonal postures. I'll try. I can't. It's a big difference, okay, compared to the counterparts of I'll need to look at my calendar and move a few things around, but I'm pretty sure that I can. Okay, all of this makes a big difference. We're trying to we are showing you the whole picture here. The words are important, but the way that they're transmitted is also important, or the way that they're being received or being transmitted to you.
And a quick example of how the delivery of how you transfer them is important. Just using I'll try and I can't, just the way you say it can make a difference. So instead of say I'll try, which makes it more of a statement and kind of locks it in, you say I'll try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's a different. Or I can't. By doing that, by shifting the inflection to a question, it changes the impact of those words.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we're just kind of giving you some of the inside tweaks here, but That's the exact point, is your tonal and visual posture. So when I said I try, you notice how you'll automatically shift upwards as opposed to I'll try or I
Yeah.
can't. It's
And and Gary, that's a really good point, because again, when I'm doing training and
Mhm.
such, and somebody will use the word everything or everyone, and also everything, and then they'll look and they're like, yeah, everything,
Mhm.
and like, well, not everything. Oh, some things. Well, yeah, some things. And again, it's because these terms, these words have just become automatic. And they become automatic because they're everywhere around you. They're being used everywhere around you. They're in your advertising, they're in your books, they're in your movies, they're virtually everywhere. Okay, that you turn. They are part of your environment. This is your way of saying that's your reality, that's your environment, this is mine. And I'm going to be more specific. So I've given you a task. I give you a list of words to avoid along with alternatives that will instantly cause a neurological shift in the circuitry of your brain. Now I'm going to give you the fail-safe, a simple hack within a hack to eliminate any doubt when choosing the most empowering and uplifting words and phrases. So when in doubt of the proper terminology to use this filtering system. Okay. Is it true? How do I know it's true? Is it giving me the outcome I want? And most of all, does it empower me
Or others.
or others? So, an example, I can't succeed on my own in business. Okay. So we take that sentence and then we apply the filter. And we ask ourselves these questions. Is it true that I cannot succeed on my own in business? How do I know I cannot succeed on my own in business? Is not succeeding in business on my own giving me the outcome that I want? And lastly, does not succeeding in business on my own empower me or empower others? This is just whoop. So
Great filter to use.
a great filter. It's fantastic. So remember that your mind is the most powerful thing that you can control. Saying words like these is like handicapping yourself before you even get started. And life's difficult enough, and you don't need your own mind rooting against your potential, stopping you before you even get going. Okay? That's hack number 2.
So, hack number 3. All right. So this was so closely guarded. It was such a closely guarded magic hack that the magician was flipping over how he realized, or over when he realized that we snagged it for you. Truth be told, Ross was this close to needing a princess kiss to be here today. All right. Um,
Did you draw my name out of a hat or?
All right, so hack number 3. This hack is about starting to create your own magical vocabulary, including existing words in your vocabulary. And then, as you evolve and as you grow with it, creating words that no one else knows but you and your unconscious mind. You give these words definitions and meanings just for you and your unconscious mind to trigger feelings, thoughts, ideas, and actions of empowerment. We're going to start with words that you know, and then you can get creative. We can talk about it in the rabbit hole. We can talk about it. We may dip more into it in future streams, but we definitely go into it in the Art of Designing Your Reality, the 7-day course that we've got coming up soon. So what if you had a set of words that could foster and invite more flow in your life? type hashtag flow if you'd like that. Okay. And if you had more flow in your life, and then another set that increased or improved your perception of reality. Right, and then others, other words that automatically expand your possibilities. You could have them in your arsenal when things seem challenging, difficult, or impossible, and in conjunction with what we've already gone through. Okay, so using a specific magic vocabulary, which we've already started getting you to do, right? But a specific magic vocabulary would almost give you a superpower to embrace and handle just about anything. If you'd like that superpower, type hashtag superpower. All right, and maybe there are other emotions of connection, determination, or peace and solitude that would serve you. The thing is that the infinity matrix you are making up, the reality is as you, it's the reality you're making up as you go along anyways, right? You are making this reality as you go, moment by moment. So why not come up with an empowering or enlightened vocabulary that is customized and personalized just for you? Nice. We got some flow and superpowers in there. That's awesome. Okay. So this final hack is designed to help you to get started on your very own magic vocabulary. The first category of words I want you to start using more of in your everyday communication. So Rob gave you the vocabulary diet, right? The word diet. I'm going to add in some substance, some stuff on your table to use now, right? To digest and have it flow with you. All right. So I want you to start to use more in your everyday communications, and done with the intention of creating more flow and ease in your life. In fact, the more you think about and the more you enjoy having these things flow effortlessly in your life, you will easily find new ways to naturally and automatically adopt them into your everyday communication. So I'm going to go to a slide here. I'm going to pop you out for a second, bring you back, Ross, after. Ciao for now. Like that. And look at that. We've got, oh, I can't move that. Why? Oh, I don't like that. Our software just moved where that goes. Okay, so I'm going to take me out and make that the solo. You guys will hear me as we do that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here are going to be 3 words to start you off on your magic vocabulary to create more flow in your life. Okay? Here we go. The first one is easily. Start to use that more in your conversations when you're speaking with people. Naturally and automatically. Using these words will impact you and those you use it with on an energetic level, as Ross talked about earlier earlier today and in past episodes, right? The energy of them starts to bring more flow and ease to the people that you're speaking with or to yourself. So play with them and actively add them into your conversations with others and yourself more consistently from here on out. Okay? Then adding these next 4 words will help you to increase your perception of reality, allowing you to be more aware of what you claim to be real, making you realize how much you actually contribute to that reality, so that you can experience the full totality of the power you wield with the words you use. You'll notice the subtle and the not so subtle effect on your reality the more you use these 4 words. First one is aware. Next one is realizing or realize. Next one is experience or experiencing. And the next one is notice or noticing. Start to think about how you can add those into your communications on a daily basis. Okay. And then to round off your first 10 power words in your magic vocabulary, imagine that just a couple of tiny words could expand your possibilities in an instant. I mean, what if you had a mindset locked in and reinforced that the sky, heck, the infiniteness of the multiverse is the limit? I know that I wonder just how wonderful that would be for you to wonder about and use these types of words. Imagine that. What if? And fill in the blank, right, with something positive and empowering for both those options. And I wonder how, I wonder why, I wonder what, I wonder when, I wonder where, I wonder who. So take these 10 power words and build on them and add them to a journal. And when you find words or phrases that uplift you, oh, you can't see the bottom of the screen. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, let me clear Mary's out of there. There you go. Thanks for that, Linda. Okay, yeah. So take these 10 power words and build on them. Add to them and, create a journal. Create your own dictionary, if you will, of empowering positive magic words. Okay? Inspiring words that inspire you to move, inspire you and move you on different levels of experience. Then add them to the vocabulary. And you may even find that as you start using them in your communications, that those around you will start to adopt them and feed them back to you as well. It's a high probability. Okay, just saying. All right. And so there you have it. That's a wrap on Words Have Power series.